Well, hello, hello, hello. If you've ever wondered how ordinary people can turn their lives and their health around just with simple lifestyle changes, I'm really excited to share two other people that have done that with you today, and so you can ask some questions and just hear about their story. So I am Jane Hogan. I'm the wellness engineer and natural pain relief expert. I used to work as a real engineer for 30 years until the pain from rheumatoid arthritis told me I had to make a change. And so I hung up my hard hat, I followed my heart, and now I'm following my passion to help other people reverse pain with naturally with lifestyle changes. This show, Wellness by Design, is all about helping people design a life of wellness based on what their own body needs, not reacting to the world around them. They take charge and they can become the most magnificent version of themselves. I'm really excited today to welcome two people who have turned their lives around, two amazing women, Anita Humor and Caroline Casey. So Anita and Caroline, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited you decided to do this and come on the show and talk to people. This was actually my daughter Kelsey's idea. She said, "Mom, you need to talk to people, or people. I've had a lot of experts on the show, but just ordinary people who have done the extraordinary, and that's taking their life and their health into their own hands and turning it around." So I'd like to ask each of you to just really briefly, bird's eye view. Where were you before and where are you now? So let's start with Anita.
Hello and thank you. Yes, it was at the beginning of COVID about over a year ago that I was isolated in my home upstate. I was recently out of a relationship. I was depressed. I was sad. I was lonely. I couldn't sleep. My eating habits were minimal. I didn't feel like eating. And I was abusing alcohol. And I said, that'll do it. That'll push it away. And it didn't. And so one night, I'm on my iPad looking at Facebook, and I see Jane Hogan, my cousin. It's my cousin. I think I'll watch and see what's going on. And it entertained me to the point that it took my mind away from what I was feeling, which was a great deal of anxiety. And I started to watch one of her lessons on deep breathing. And she said, if you sign up, you can get 3 different nights of this, and that will help ease the stress. And so indeed I did. And I didn't realize just by breathing in certain ways, I could focus my attention and start to feel a little better. And that was the beginning of the process. Then I was so delighted with that. It's not that everything turned around by any means, but it was a step forward in the right direction. I then decided to become a member of Wonderful Fine, where we had lessons to learn with each month, dealing with resilience and mindfulness, and also rejuvenation. And these were words I hadn't thought about. How could I change my perspective? If I had a sad thought or an empty thought or a lost thought, how could I change that? And I said, she said I could, just by my own intention to say, I wish to be happy. What it is that I want for myself. I wish to feel good. I wish to feel buoyant, energetic. And with each month as we've progressed, I've been able to add more of these tools. And so therefore that's helped turn my psyche, my mental and emotional body into feeling so much better, so that with resilience, I can start to heal inside. Finding out I probably have leaky gut, finding out I have SIBO, another whole session on that. And how to deal with it, and how to feel better and get better. And my issues were with anxiety and with eczema, skin issues. No real pain per se, but annoyance and aggravation. And that has eased up a great deal through my mindfulness, beginning the day with meditations, affirmations, um, writing, journaling, stretching, walking, drinking enough water, paying attention. Pretty soon, Jane was occupying my thoughts throughout the entire day. How could I be better and be the best person that I could be? Amen.
Oh, Anita, that's so lovely. So it's funny because we are, I think, like third cousins, and we've only ever met once, and we hadn't even really connected at all. But through this, we have connected, and you've just really taken. You say that I'm in your thoughts, but I think it's the lessons are in your thoughts. The lessons are in the front of your mind, and because of that, you're living consciously.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of these physical symptoms, whether it's pain, whether it's allergies, whether it's skin issues, anxiety, all these things, they are downstream problems of of the other problem. And the other problem, I believe, is that we have so much negativity running around in our brain that our body starts to respond to that. So you've been, and the beautiful thing about what you've been doing in this work is that, yes, we do. Oh, Andrea says exactly. Nice to have your comment there, Andrea. What we're saying is that yes, we need to address some of these downstream problems of, you mentioned, like leaky gut and SIBO and so on, but we need to really get at the underlying issues. And these are our thoughts, and through the work that you've been doing, you've been able to turn that around. So that's really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing what your experience has been. And let's hear from Caroline now.
Hi. I started having trouble with my SI joint. It has to be 14 or 15 years ago, and I've had many tests, tried many different things, and anyway, so that was, and I also had skin issues. And Jane, a year and a half ago, was doing, and same thing, I was on Facebook with Jane, and she was going to do the sugar challenge. So I thought, oh, I should do that, because especially after Christmas, it was a bit of a, it was a problem at that point. And so I did that, and, got it really away from sugar in my diet. And then, the opportunity was there to join Jane's group. And I thought, you know what? My motto was, if not now, when? It's time. It's time for me. I turned 60, and I thought, you know what? It's time. So I joined, and I did baby steps, same as Anita. I started with my morning routine. That is my saving grace. I do my meditation, my visualization. I do my affirmation cards. I do my yoga. I walk every day. And, gradually I worked on the food. I had eliminated the sugar, then I eliminated the dairy and the gluten, and I got to the end. And then I did a program called the Renew Food Group, which helped, you go back to the basics and then slowly add in food. And lo and behold, one of the things I was eating, which was yogurt twice a day, I reacted really strongly to, and I would never have known if I hadn't taken it away, stepped away from it, and then added it back in. So my skin has settled, my joint pain is settled. And I mean, really, I joined the group to find some peace and joy in my life. And definitely, I've definitely found that. And our thoughts are just so major. The negativity it wears on our soul and our health. And we've been able to turn around and find many positive things, mainly gratitude. I always try in the morning to do gratitude in the morning, gratitude at night. And anyways, it's been a great journey. I've really enjoyed myself.
Oh, so happy to have you along this journey and be witness to what the work that I don't know if it's work. I mean, when you're working on yourself, and you're expanding and you're getting better and stronger, is that work, or is it part of a joyous experience? But I love what you talked about there, the baby steps. It doesn't have to be major sweeping change. It's little baby steps. One of the expressions I use is that baby steps will take you anywhere as long as you keep taking them. Just these little baby steps every day. And the morning routine, love that. I believe that morning routines are so powerful because they set us up for the day. And each day is like a mini life in our life. So when we can run through a day and turn it into a powerful day, a day where we are creating the feelings that we want, where we are creating the life that we want, but through all these different means, then it's so beautiful. So I love what two of you have shared. So thank you so much for sharing your journeys. I'm just getting some comments there. So Andrea says, when you love yourself, even when it can feel like work, it's a healer. So sweet, Andrea. Love that. Well said. And anyone else who has a comment or a question, maybe you'd like to ask Anita or Caroline a question about part of their journey. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer either one. So Andrea also said she's, it's like how I used to say in Andrea's transformation, it really is one small good choice at a time. Absolutely true. Our life is made up of all these little choices we make along the way. So don't underestimate the power of one little choice, because each little choice adds up. It all adds up. Thank you for that, Andrea. That's just beautiful. So let's see.
And I think the other thing. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
I was
Caroline.
just going to say, along that same line is one of the mottos that I say to myself too is progress, not perfection. Every day is a brand new chance to start over. And if I got into something on the weekend, I'm like, oh, you're back into that sugar. No, I'm going forward. And that was the resilience. It's bouncing forward. And it's always, we learn from what we've done and we go forward.
Yeah. It's none of it is wrong. It's everything is learning, right? Everything, I believe that everything that happens to us is for us to learn from, even the pain, if we've got pain, even our skin issues, all of that stuff is for, it's to teach us and show us. We just need to pay attention. That's all. And that's one of the things we're learning to do in this, that I love to teach in Wonderful Vine. And pretty much everything I talk about is paying attention, learning, paying attention, listen. Because our bodies, I mean, obviously when our physical body starts to show signs, that's when we start paying attention. But I don't know about you two, but when I look back, I was getting lots of signs to say pay attention before that. Well, I didn't listen. How about you?
Yes,
Caroline, you
sure.
first. Did you get some signs?
Well, it's for sure. I mean, it was the pain, it was the eczema and that. And now, and I have just come through a time where my skin kind of flared again. And I just say to myself, okay, what is this teaching me? What I need to go back, maybe look at some of my food choices. And if I'm having pain, instead of being kind of angry at the pain, I just say, I'm sending you love and I hear you, and I will take better care of you. And our thoughts on all of this is so powerful. And I think and I think coming into it, I'd had this arthritis for so many years and tried every single thing that I'd probably given up on. I thought, well, this is the way my life is, but no pain. Yeah, my pain has definitely settled. And I think it's because there was hope there. I think this group gives us hope that yes, we are given the tools, and if we can practice them, then your journey should hopefully get better.
Yeah, love it. Applying these principles. And I love what you said there. I'm just going to put Andrea's comment. Micro loving yourself adds up to amazing love. So true, right? We don't realize one of those expressions I really like is we should all over ourselves all the time, right? Generally, that's one of the things I'm trying to teach not to do. When we are hard on ourselves, we're sending a message to our body that we're not good enough. We're not as we are. We're not lovable. And we're really turning that around. We're learning to turn that around in this group. And and turning into, like, it sounds so cliche, love yourself, but the thoughts that are going around in your head all the time are powerful, and it does affect us physically because the subconscious mind is always listening. It's always listening. And so it can make a big difference to your life when you start to, first of all, notice your thoughts. That's the first part. Just start to notice, what are you thinking about all the time? How are you talking to yourself? Would you talk to a child that you love like that? Would you talk to a friend that you love like that? And if the answer is no, well, it's time to start being more loving to yourself. All right, Anita, what about you? Do you think you got signs like way back when that you didn't pay attention to?
Yeah, because I used to have itching all over my body. I used to rub my back up against the wall on the corner till it was almost raw. And I took a hairbrush to my legs every night. I had intense amount of cortisone over the years to suppress it. I did like Caroline. I tried everything. And then I did do things, that were helpful for sure. But this was a whole new level of despair that I hadn't recognized or ever come to in my life. I was never really a depressed person, I didn't think. I had so many wonderful things going in my life, conducting a chorus, playing piano, accompanying students, traveling and whatnot. So, I mean, these are outward things, but they were giving me pleasure. So, but of course, my aspect of tension is in the breathing. It goes into the lungs. So with the exercises and things with the thought, my breathing has eased up a lot. And that's a major goal, is to heal the lungs. That's major.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting how you both came into the program through two very different things. One was when I did the breathing with you, Anita. I did a breathing. I wouldn't call it a challenge. It was to help people relax at the beginning of COVID because so many people were quite stressed. And breathing is huge because we can send a message to our body through how we breathe, right? When we breathe shallow and up here, that's sending a signal of, things aren't safe. Right. Life isn't safe. And then when we breathe deeply, which is what I was trying to teach in that program, we send a message that things are going well and we can calm down, and really healing happens and our body functions well when we are in that place of calm. Now, with Caroline, it was the sugar challenge, which is another aspect of what I talk about, because we eat foods that inflame our body. So if we are showing signs of inflammation, we got to stop fanning the flames of inflammation by putting that stuff down. So sugar is so inflammatory. It's why it's one of the starting points. And one of the things that can happen when, for a variety of reasons, we can get problems with our gut health. And honestly, most inflammation begins in the gut because about 80 or 70, 80% of our immune system is there. So I do have this focus on gut health as well, because another aspect of gut health that a lot of people don't realize is the connection between the gut and the brain. I think people are talking about it a little bit more, or it seems like that to me because I'm in this space. But when you start having problems with your gut, you can get anxiety because most of our feel-good neurotransmitters are made in our gut. So if you're not making them, you don't feel good, right? So we've got multiple ways that we can start to make ourselves feel better just by making some lifestyle changes. Now, I'm not minimizing it. It's not always easy for people to give up things like sugar or to take the time to start breathing in a way that's going to support them better. But these are starting points, and it does get easier over time. And when you can flip your life around, it's so beautiful. You can change the trajectory of your life. I love what Caroline said there about, she said to herself, if not now, when? We get to, I got to this point, and you probably got to that point too. And maybe a lot of people that are listening, it's just like, enough's enough. My life is not meant to be like this. If I, I got to try to do something, and I went one step further. So I am doing it, and I'm not giving up until I get the answers. And it's kind of got to be that way, that you've got to keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, because your body's talking to you. Your body and your feelings will guide you into the right direction. So thank you for that. So how have you grown or changed, do you think, since doing this? Like, just, a couple of sentences. Anita, what would you say?
Uh, calmer through meditation, through having more positive thoughts, gentler. Of course, it has to start with myself. Easing up. I was rigid in my thinking, and I didn't realize it. Rigid in making things had to be just so. Even in my teaching with the kids, with piano, things can just be let go and not always hit on every little thing. Just see the bigger picture all the time. And how I say things is more important than anything. Has to be done in a positive nurture. Everything has to be nurturing. So I guess I must have learned somewhat how to nurture myself, because I never really understood that I have the ability to embrace. So that was big. And my willingness to change. I really, really want to feel better. I really do. And that's where I'm headed with each day.
You are highly motivated to feel better.
Highly motivated.
That's beautiful. And I know you mentioned your words are important, but I also know, Kelsey, leave a comment up there. I also know that, Anita, you talk about your words, but I know that you understand as well now that it's how you feel. The feeling behind those words is important too, right? And what a lot of us don't realize, I felt like I was really critical of people, not with my words, but often I felt it, but I was never more critical of anyone than I was of myself. And the thing is, it's not, you aren't critical of one and then of yourself and not of other people. They both kind of go hand in hand. So when you change your thoughts about yourself, it does come out with other people as well. And it's your thoughts and your feelings. And then, of course, your words are your expression of your feelings and your thoughts. So that's really lovely. How about you, Caroline?
Well, I can give you I can give you an example of how I've changed. My sister died suddenly about 10 weeks ago, and I would have had a very different journey these last 2 weeks if I hadn't had all of the tools that Jane had given me. So, for example, I spent the first couple of days telling myself, my heart is broken. She was my best friend. And then I woke up like 3 days later and I opened my eyes and I thought, Jane would say, you are telling your body that your heart's broken. So your heart really thinks it's broken. And I thought I can't do this anymore. I have to say, my heart is filled with joy and love and gratitude that I have my sister for 60 years. I would never have ventured down that path if I hadn't had those tools, and I would still be floundering because it is a big loss in my life. And then the other, I do a gratitude journal every night. And, my sister, we found out like 8:00 at night. So by the time I got into bed, because it was my routine, I got out my gratitude journal and I journaled all my thankfulness that I had my sister for all those years. So these tools that I'm, I was using, but then you hit a crisis. Do I, can I reach down and grab hold of them? And I was able to. So that shows me that my foundation of all of the morning routine, I still did my morning routine the next day because it grounds me and it does give me peace and joy. And I think, and even over this COVID experience, I always said, I started to grow my bangs out and I joined Jane in January so that I could be ready for COVID when it hit in, last March. So yes, I Jane had said, she gave us a couple of questions to think about, and it was like, you know, how were you before as opposed to after? And I said to Anita and Jane, like, I don't even know if I remember what it was like before. All I know now is that I do have peace and I have joy in my life. And in my sisterhood, which is my wonderful fine sisters, have helped me on this journey. I really feel like I'm part of it. We journey together. Our journeys are different, but yet there are things that are very similar. And especially in this COVID time where Ontario's been in lockdown so many times, that I am so grateful that I've been able to join Jane. Jane has us do Zooms where we get to talk to each other, and then she presents other times or has guest speakers. And so I really have, if like this whole COVID thing, I felt our sisterhood has been even stronger, because for some of us this
Oh,
is
yeah,
our chance to socialize and see each other.
that's right.
Mhm.
And be
It has
supportive.
become,
Support.
yeah, it has become a really great support, and friendships have developed because we got people across Canada and the US in this group.
Mhm.
And I love what you said, how different people like the tools that perhaps I give a lot of different tools, right? But the tools that you pick up may be different from what someone else does, but they're what you need. And you do have a wisdom in you that tells you what you need. And how beautiful, Caroline, that in this time of, great despair, that these tools could help you not fall further, but find some grace in this as well. And I'm super grateful for that you had those tools as well. Um, and our theme for the month of May is resilience. And that one of the things about learning all these tools is it does help us become more resilient so that we can I like to say bounce forward, not bounce back, because we want to be a bigger, life is expanding, the universe is expanding, we are expanding. We want to expand bigger than we were before and see a bigger picture than we saw before. So, these tools are for that, and they're helping all of us really realize how much control we have in our this moment and in this day and where we are. We actually have a lot of control over our life, because in this strange world we're in right now, in this situation, it can feel like we don't have a lot of control, especially if you focus a lot on news and future and all that kind of stuff. But when we bring ourselves into the present through using these tools, gratitude and meditation and breath work, and then feeding our body with the foods that are going to nourish it, not foods that are going to deplete it, then we have a whole arsenal of tools to help us live a bigger and greater life. So that's lovely. Okay, let's see how we're doing for time. Oh my goodness, almost half an hour already. Okay. I think we've covered some of these. So what is, Anita wanted to say something.
Will I have a moment to read the poem at the end?
Oh, let's hear your poem, Anita. Yes. Anita has become a poet. Well, maybe you were always a poet, but she's been writing poems in our group, and they're just so beautiful and uplifting. So let's hear one, Anita.
This one I wrote June 14th, 2020. And so you can see, I wasn't that long into Wonderful Find, and things were already starting to take shape. And I wanted to write something called Ode to Jane. And here's how it goes. This is how we first met. There came a time the need was there. I saw a light, and Jane would share. A simple thought to breathe and be. In and out was right for me. Her face that glowed, sincere was she, found peace and love and harmony. As things progressed, it came to me that mindfulness brought clarity. Unhook from praise, forgive, be free, were words that changed my thoughts for me. Begin the day in silence and prayer, helped manifest affirmations I would share. Cleansing thoughts and body too, became a way to now renew. A path is set, I'm happy to see, that life now has more meaning for me. A cousin so dear, it's Jane for me, in sharing her own positivity. So thanks for all she gives, you see. Her passion shared has set me free.
Anita.
Beautiful.
That was
It
so
is beautiful. I'm a little, embarrassed, but you have captured so many great things in there.
Yes.
I was hoping you were going to read a different one because you've written so many beautiful ones. But I do appreciate that you wrote the
that really
Ode to Jane.
back then. It brought all of the concepts in way
It
back,
Yes.
did. It
and
did.
that fed my soul, my heart, and my gratitude and my generative gratitude for gratitude.
Oh,
And that was another big thing, but the poetry has subsided for the moment because I could never finish a book. I'm finishing 3 books already now in our book club. So,
Yes.
I'll move in and out as I see, and then it'll come to me. Thank you.
oh, well, thank you for all I don't know how many poems you've written over the last year or so.
Well,
Quite a
probably
few.
50.
They've been such an inspiration, Anita. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for that and for
Okay.
reading it today too. And for your kind words for me. Okay, so the one thing I always end up the show asking this question of my guests. So I'm going to ask you too as well. So here it is. What's one action someone could take today to improve their health? So Caroline, let's hear from you. Do you have one thing?
Well, there's so many, but I think I would say, look at your thoughts. And if it's negative, like watch your thoughts are so powerful. And if you could just be positive and kind in your thoughts, then the rest will follow. You will feel like, okay, maybe I can drink more water at it. But it's the mindfulness, it's the gratitude, it's the just being more positive and starting with ourselves. And then then you'll be able to pass that on to your family. So I would say our thoughts. Start with your thoughts.
Beautifully said, Caroline. How about you, Anita?
I would say for me, yes, everything Caroline said, but it would be to find someone to meditate with, either to have a meditation in the morning and at night, because I was running so fast all the time that I couldn't calm down enough to pay attention to anything. I was always on the run since I was born, I think. I have been running. So this has brought me down to where I can think so much better and start with what it feels like to feel calm and peaceful as the beginning of the day. And from there, then I'll know where I'm going. Then I'll know when something is approaching me that, that makes me feel like this. I wouldn't have known before.
So through meditation, you found like a stillness in you that you could grab onto whenever you need it.
Never had that in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Those are beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for that. So I want to say a big thank you to both of you for coming and doing this today. I really appreciate it because I know the first time I did a Facebook Live, I was like, oh, and I've gotten comfortable with it, but this is new for both of you. So I really appreciate you both doing this and for spreading hope and inspiration to the people that are listening to this or watching this and letting them know that they can have hope as well. There is hope. You can always change your life. You can always change your life.
Yes.
I did have Wonderful Find. So we've been talking about Wonderful Find. It is my women's wellness program, which is online, but it's actually closed right now. With the next enrollment isn't until July. But if you wanted to learn more about it and get on my wait list, there's there we go. There we go. go.janehoganhealth.com/wonderfulfind. But as I said, right now it's closed. It will open again in July. And if you get on my wait list, when I've got like early bird specials and stuff like that, so you'll get notice of that. Look, we also had Kim Short watching. Amazing, wonderful, fine women. I agree, Kim. They are. They are. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone who was watching today, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching replay on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, wherever, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching it. Please leave a comment if you got a comment or if you've been inspired, just let us know. And thank you for tuning in. And thank you again to Anita and Caroline.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.